Of all of the courses I played in the Bay Area, I was most excited to get here, Sharp Park in Pacifica. Just an hour away from here lies Pasatiempo, an Alister Mackenzie design so fantastic it led Bobby Jones to hire him to design Augusta. Now Sharp Park might not have the prestige or the conditioning of Pasatiempo, but it's an Alister Mackenzie design, and because it's a San Francisco Muni, it's a reasonable $50. I was invited by Matt of Golf Parfection to play here, and we decided to tip it out, thinking it didn't look too challenging from the tips. Well, we'll see how that goes today. My first swing of the day is not exactly fantastic, and my second swing of the day is even worse. Now the plan is get it on the green from 100 yards and get out of here with a bogey. But this approach comes up short, and you can see how much moisture is in the grass here, and this chip fails to get anywhere close to the hole. And unfortunately on hole 1 we'll have to take a double. This course has a ton of great two-shotters framed by trees, and on the second hole I'm lucky that my wayward drive manages to get through and have a line here. This one finds the front of the green, and I'll have my first lag putt of the day. And it's just fine, and we'll get out of the second with a par. To give you a sense of just how bad my driver was today, that's one of the day's best, and it's only about 210. And here from 150, my approach shot finds a greenside bunker. The bunkers here are probably the best conditioned part of the course, and here I hit a great one to only a few feet. But I misread this one moving left. Another shout out to Matt of Golf Parfection. While my driver was pretty lousy all day, he was absolutely smoking them, so check out his video of his round. I've talked over a couple of bad shots on this hole, and this third one isn't all that much better. And with all the moisture in the ground, I decide to hit a hybrid here because I'm fearful of chunking a wedge, but it's pretty tough to judge the speed coming through that wet grass, and I'm left with a pretty long putt here. And I'll get out of the fourth with a bogey. The fifth hole takes you to the highest point on this course, climbing up into the Santa Cruz Mountains, and unfortunately my 3 hybrid doesn't get all the way up to the green. And I'm left with about 10 feet here, and it stalls right on the lip. I've hit a few bad drives to this point, but this one that clips a tree is the first of many that really takes me out of position for the hole. The 4-wood gets me back in play, but when you blade wedges from 35 yards, you make bad things worse. That one's a bit unfortunate, and now I'll have about 15 feet for bogey. And we'll take our second double of the opening few holes here. This drive is much worse than the last one. It also hits a tree and comes down about 100 yards from the tee box. This 4-wood is also not great. This 6-iron is also not great. And now we'll have about 4 feet for bogey, and we miss it. And if there's anything worse than a blow-up hole, it's stacking them back to back. No bother. Onto a hole of my favorite number of about 100 yards. That one's pulled a bit left of the green. But that putt's decent enough, and I'll get out with a par. This is another unspectacular drive, but on a short par 5 there's lots of time to make up for it. And even after hitting yet another lousy 4-wood, we've got about 100 yards and should be able to get out of this one with a par. But just like the first hole from 100 yards, we actually come up quite a bit short. And I misjudged this long lag putt up the hill. And we'll have to settle for a bogey here too. When you average more than 2 bad shots a hole, you're definitely not going to put up a number. But I encourage all of you when you're having days like this, because we all do, to find something else on the course to enjoy. And like I said, I was so excited to be playing an Alister Mackenzie course that I decided not to let it bother me heading into the back 9. Enjoy the nice company, and sure, hope the scoring improves, but take what the course gives me. Another bad drive on 10 leaves me basically playing for bogey. But that's alright, because I think another takeaway, and I've mentioned this before, is when you can take bad shots and turn them into just bogeys, you can't really complain. The bad driver is only getting worse out there. This one goes all of about 150 yards. And playing from out of position here, it's more or less the same game plan. Get it close, knock it on the green, and get out of here with a bogey. But I've got to say I was losing a bit of motivation. And I walk up to this one without really taking a good look at it. And lesson learned, that's how you make doubles. We all agreed that this par 3 playing right at the ocean was playing about 230, so I pull out a driver. And playing from a bunker here, I again knock it close. And I manage to make this breaker. Golf works in funny ways, because that's a par you don't expect. Wow, is the bad driver getting worse still? Par 5, lots of time to recover. And from 130 here I hit definitely my best shot of the day, and it will give me a good look at birdie after that drive. And this one almost drops, but just slips by the hole. It wouldn't be around in the Bay Area without at least a bit of rain, and with it coming down I hit my only great drive of the day. And the rangefinder lied to me here. I thought I was playing a 175-yard shot, but we all agreed it was more like 130 or 140, and it causes me to airmail that one right over the green. And that chip will still leave me about 12 or 13 feet. And just like the last hole, the putt skates just by the hole. This is a quirky little par 3. It's a blind shot and only about 140 yards. It's playing into wind and I grab extra club, but it's still a bit short. And at this point I've hit every single club in the bag from the fringe. And even though it's short, I do manage to clean this one up. I've always promised to show you guys the good, the bad, and the ugly. And man, it's just ugly out there on 16. 2 horrible hooks. But I do manage to get this one on the green here. And it's back to that old equation of hitting bad shots and getting out of holes with bogeys. And had I been able to do that more today, instead of making doubles, I probably could have salvaged a score. But you can guess by now that that is not going to happen. Yet here on 17, for the one and only time all day, I hit a fairway in regulation, a green in regulation, and just a drama-free 2-putt par.
Alright.
Another drive that's going to clip a tree here on 18. So it's a par 5 that I won't be close to reaching. And that's one final top 4 wood for the day. The hybrid is only marginally better. And the one club we hadn't hit was an iron from the fringe. And that one will actually give me a look at salvaging a par here. But it's not quite meant to be, and we'll close the day with a bogey. And today's round is yet another reminder that golf is hard. Right on the heels of a pretty great 79 in lousy conditions at the Presidio, today we did not score well. But hey, we did manage to link up with some subscribers, make content together, and enjoy world-class course design on the coast in California. So this isn't one I'll complain about. Throw out the scorecard and go on to the next one.